You're amazing, and I'll prove it. I've been doing a series called Teach Them the Game, and it came from when I was a kid. I liked to hang around with the older people because they had wisdom and they had lived long enough to teach me the things that I needed to know. And I would learn them at a very young age instead of learning them as 60 years old or beyond. And so now that I am almost 62 years old, I'm trying to pass some of that wisdom on to the parents as well as the children, but primarily the parents, because they're the ones that are going to be teaching their children that they are amazing. And they'll be the ones that will be proving it to them. You're amazing and I'll prove it is a tool that parents can use that is very valuable in teaching a child how amazing they really are. Anyway, one of the things that, as a parent, that is just as probably the most frightening thing that they'll ever go through is when their children start to learn how to drive. And if you think about it through a child's eyes, they they're all excited because for the first time they're going to be able to get behind this wheel and they're going to feel the car move, and eventually, not too far down the road, 6 months, a year probably at the most, they'll be driving in that car by themselves, and for the first time they'll have some kind of independence. And as a child, you don't think of all the ramifications and how dangerous this machine is. In fact, I taught my kids that a car is a killing machine, and that you have to respect it, and that you do not, when they are 16 years old and they're learning how to drive, that they never want their world to run into the world of a child, because the children just don't know how dangerous this car is, and the 16-year-old doesn't know either. So you try to pass that information on. Well, in order to get over the feeling that, oh, this is so unique that this is the first time I'm in the car and I'm getting to feel it move, I decided that I was going to start teaching my kids how to drive as soon as they were old enough, or big enough, I should say, physically big enough, that they could sit behind the wheel, see over the wheel, and reach the pedals okay and everything. And then I would get up early on a Sunday morning for the most part, and I would take them over to the local mall, or I would take them to a large parking lot of some kind. Around here we had IBM and places like that, and the parking lots were on Sunday morning were empty. And so I would take my kids over there and I'd get them behind the wheel, and obviously you'd have the brake in between so you could pull the emergency brake if something happened. But they had a huge area that they could just slowly drive the car around and get a feel for the movement of the car, and get over that new exciting feeling of this is the first time I've ever done it. And I started teaching my kids when they were about 12 years old, and so they had around 4 years that I could teach them on and off uh, just exactly how to go about driving and get over all that new exciting feeling. And once they got better at driving, I would then take them to the mall itself. And as you know, the mall has a little road that goes around the mall that's contained within that mall area. And on a Sunday, again, nobody's there. And so I would have them drive around that road. I would have them drive up to the stop signs and stop and look both ways and all this kind of stuff. So if you want to help yourself as you go forward as a parent and get over some of those fears, which are extremely what's the word I want? Valid. They're valid fears. I had a sister and a brother in two separate accidents that were killed in car accidents, and that's probably one of the reasons that I started teaching my kids so early how to drive. Neither one of them were at fault, but that's not the point. The point is that we need to teach our kids early. And so that's my advice, or my wisdom for today, is to teach your kids. Oh, I was going to also say that my daughter is now in her mid-30s and she's never had an accident. And my son, he's now in his early 30s and he has had one accident on ice. And so if I was to do it over again, I would try to get them over to the mall or to a parking lot when they were icy, and they could get a feel for what it was like to drive on ice. My son, being an inexperienced driver, told me, "Dad, I wasn't even speeding when I had my accident. I was only doing 50." And I'm thinking, you're doing 50 on ice? See, but that was the young driver who didn't have that experience. So try to get them over there early, and it will save you hopefully a whole lot of heartache. And this is Neal the Crazy Inventor, teaching everyone that they're amazing. You're amazing, and I'll prove it. Thank you.
To learn more about Neal G. Brownell's book, You're Amazing, and I'll Prove It, click on the link below. If you like this video, please hit the like button and hit subscribe to get more You're Amazing videos.
You're amazing, and I'll prove it.